everybody or nobody. Well, I think I see one in here. I haven't been able to figure out if that's me or that's actually somebody in here. Um, Again, not sure how many. So sorry, guys and gals. I was eating some chili and got choked all of a sudden. I'm not sure how many people will even be in here tonight for Howard the Duck. Um, because this seems to be, as I put in the description, one of the most ridiculed comic book movies. Um, and George Lucas put this thing out. He didn't direct it, but I think maybe he produced it or something. And I love it so much that I got the daggone 4K steelbook. Actually, Steve got this for me a while back. And I grew up with this movie, and I think that's Jay was asking me last night why Howard the Duck, and I was like, I think the big thing is the nostalgia factor again. Um, yeah, there are some things that are hokey and stuff like that, but here's the thing: most of the people that dislike the Howard the Duck movie are the people that read the comic book. I never read any of the Howard the Duck comic books. I knew nothing about them. I didn't even know for years that Howard the Duck was a comic book character. That's how far removed I was from that. I just thought he was some character that they created for this movie. I had no idea about comic books. I didn't read many comic books as a kid. Um, I would read some of those real old Archie comics. I would read the reprints of the old EC comics, the Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, Haunt of Fear, stuff like that. But my brother was the one that was really, really into comic books. And he probably was more familiar with the comic book side of Howard the Duck than I was, I would imagine. And he's 6 years younger than I am. So I never saw the comic books, didn't even know that Howard the Duck was a comic book character. I just saw this movie, I think primarily on TV in the beginning, and just found it to be a whole lot of fun. I had nothing to compare it to. Um, I'm a lot harsher on books that I have read that they've turned into movies. So I figured probably the same is true for people that read the Howard the Duck comics and then tried to watch this movie, and it's like, that isn't right. But for those of you, it looks like there are four of you in here now. It looks like we might have, a few people here and there. So some of you may have never seen Howard the Duck. You may have never read the comics. Some of you may have never watched the movie and read the comics. Some of you may have read the comics and said, no way, I'm not watching that movie, and never watched the Howard the Duck movie. But Leah Thompson is on this movie. Jeffrey Jones. I know some people don't care about Jeffrey Jones or care for Jeffrey Jones because of his past. However, you know, I don't approve of that stuff either. Okay. But here's the thing, I'm not saying I can look past it, but I can watch a movie purely for what's in it at that moment without thinking about, you know, what this person may have done in their personal life that was a little seedy. So it don't make it right. And, I think people should be punished for these things. I'm not going to go into detail about it. I think people know what Jeffrey Jones was found guilty of and what some other people have been found guilty of. Okay. But I am just here to talk about the movie. But Leah Thompson is on it, Tim Robbins, Jeffrey Jones, whether you like him or you don't like him, or liked him till you found out what was revealed about him or whatever. And again, I'm not getting on anybody. It's just sometimes people will not watch a movie with someone who has either been accused of something or has been found to have been guilty of something that I'm not going to go into details on here. And some people can get past that and still watch the movie or the television show or whatever it may be, and some people can't. And some people, and again, I'm not putting anybody down for coming to my watch alongs and talking half the watch along about somebody's seedy activities. However, I would just like to clarify here that when I have these watch alongs, it's for entertainment purposes. So it is my hope that if you have a thought, I'm not saying don't express the thought, but it's kind of like Steve tells me, if you if you dislike a movie that somebody is watching for whatever reason, make one, possibly two statements and call it a day. And either stay around and watch the movie or kindly bow out and let everybody else watch the movie. I just don't want the chat to be monopolized by people talking about somebody's seedy activities. We're here to enjoy the movie. Um, if you cannot watch the movie because you hate it so bad because this person has done something, then I'm not making you stay. I'm just saying let's keep the chat light, okay? Um, X-ray saying, "Uh-oh, what happened, Dana?" Well, X-ray, I'm just saying there have been certain times. For instance, Jeffrey Jones is in the movie we're about to watch, Howard the Duck. And I know how people feel about Jeffrey Jones, and what he did is not right. It's not right by any stretch of the imagination. But what I want to minimize from here on out is people monopolizing the chat, talking about somebody's seedy activities. I just want us to get in here and enjoy the movie. If you cannot watch the movie without completely focusing on this person or that person and what they have done or may have done or whatever, then um, you can stay and you can hang out, but one or two comments is about the minimum I want people. I don't want anybody to get in these big discussions or arguments over what somebody has done, may have done, could do, etc., etc. You say someone whining about Jeffrey Jones. Well, I don't know if I would call it whining per se, X-ray, but people have gotten into some discussions or kept talking about Jeffrey Jones' activities outside of the movies. And like I said, I'm not condoning those activities. I'm saying, can we just enjoy the movie? Is all I'm saying. And the same thing with Charlie Sheen or anybody else that may be in a movie that I'm watching on here or I'm having a watch along for. Let's just keep that kind of stuff to a minimum because these things are purely for entertainment purposes. Um, you'll forgive me, X-ray, if I don't put that last thing up there. But you did say he was a good actor. Hasn't been in anything in years. Give it a rest, people. Yeah, really, Jeffrey Jones hasn't been in anything that I can think of in a long time. But I just wanted to put that out there because I felt myself getting drawn into things, and I think those things are best left either to another stream or private chats or whatever. I just want us to get in here and enjoy the movie. But so um, I'm probably going to have to make a run to the restroom after we get this started. Um, X-ray, you say I'm here for Howard and Leah Thompson in lingerie having a duck hugs. And that's precisely why I don't market these streams, any of them, for children, but for that exact reason, X-ray. So I just want to remind everybody before we get started here. Oh, and also, if you don't have your own copy of Howard the Duck to watch tonight and you want to watch along, um, let me put the archive.org or Internet Archive link in there for Howard the Duck. And also, if anybody comes in here at any point in time and wants to join me live on here, I didn't ask Jay because the way Jay talked, he doesn't much care for Howard the Duck, the movie. So if he comes in here later and wants to join, I'd be glad to have him on, or anybody else that wants to join. Um, just let me know and I will put the link in the chat. However, I don't put the link in the chat at the beginning of these streams anymore because of something that happened that I won't go into again. If anybody comes in here later and needs a timestamp, I'll be glad to give that to you. Okay, so just as a little reminder, and I'm sure I'll remind people again, um, the watch alongs for this coming weekend will be the original 1978 classic John Carpenter's Halloween. That will be October 28th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. October 29th will be Halloween H2O. I know a lot of people hate that movie or think it hasn't aged well or whatever, but we're doing the original. We're doing the one 20 years later, and that will be October 29th, starting also at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So this coming weekend, it's going to be a double horror bill this coming weekend. No horror and then a comedy. It's going to be two horrors right in a row. So I am going to see. I'm so behind. Hey, Blair. I'm so behind on getting my shit together that I don't even have my movie queued up. So allow me a moment to do that. And for those of you that were, and I know Blair was, for those of you that were in my movie Munchies earlier at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today for the stuff, marshmallow cheesecake recipe. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. We had quite a few people in there at the beginning, and I don't know if I got boring or what happened, but it fell off to like two people. Excuse me. And Blissful told me she was sorry. She fell asleep and missed it. And I was like, no, that's no problem. I mean, people go to sleep sometimes. I do it myself. It's a wonder I haven't done it whenever I'm supposed to be doing one of these things. But so anyway, for those of you that are watching along, either, if you have the Blu-ray or the 4K or whatever, I'm actually watching the Blu-ray because I can't watch 4K back here. I am queued up 11 seconds in. It's showing the starry background. It's getting ready to show the globe for the Universal logo. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started with Howard the Duck. I'm going to do the 3, 2, 1 and press play, and then we'll get started here. So, 3, 2, 1. Press play. Here we go. And yes, this is a George Lucas Presents film. Sorry, guys and gals, I was finishing up my chili. Have I mentioned how much I love Tim Robbins? I love Tim Robbins and everything. And I don't know about anybody else, but I love these cute little things, that with they've changed everything to, stuff duck related, May Nest and instead of May West and stuff like that. Breeders of the Lost Stork instead of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, X-Ray, the comics were very different, I've heard. I still have not yet read any of the comics, and usually the people that like Jay, he had read the comics or some of the comics, and he just did not like this movie. There's Rolling Egg instead of Rolling Stone. X-Ray, you say, I met Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon. Both are at opposite ends of the extreme height differences. And X-Ray, you say, you can say what you want about this movie. They put a lot of effort into the small details. I would agree with that. So in the comics, Beverly was never in a band. She was just a normal woman. I liked the band aspect, though. What do you think, X-Ray? Do you like that? I think we got what, Splash Dance instead of Flash Dance. X-Ray, you say I didn't mind the band. I only read the comics maybe 20 years ago. You grew up on the film. Yeah, I did too. This was on heavy rotation in my household. I mean, it was not something that my parents watched, but it was definitely something that I watched. And he's going to get an adult magazine out here, Play Duck. I mean, I have to agree with you, X Ray. They did pay really great attention to details on this movie. Okay. So now something strange is happening in Howard's apartment here. And he thinks it's an earthquake. So there's some more duck boobs there. So Howard's basically getting sucked into space, and he's going to get taken from his planet to Earth. So he's going from a planet inhabited by ducks, to Earth, which is a planet inhabited by human beings. Actually, you say, as a kid, I wasn't aware it flopped. I was waiting for a sequel to this and Big Trouble in Little China. I love the way the title comes on too. So, specifically, he falls right into Cleveland. I agree, X-Ray. John Barry's score for this was epic. So there is the introduction to Leah Thompson, Beverly, and her band. X-Ray, you said Leah Thompson and the band were supposed to go on a nationwide tour, but the movie didn't go as planned. And that would have been awesome if they had, though. Yeah, I think I did hear that she did play the guitar and sing. I mean, you can obviously tell in this that it's Leah Thompson's voice. There's a music video for the main song. That's the closest you're going to get to a sequel. I'd like to see that music video. I don't think I've seen it. You say in the video, Howard is a record mogul and sends Tim Robbins on an errand. X-Ray, it might be you and me, buddy, in here tonight. No, nobody seems to want to watch Howard the Duck. I don't know why. This movie's fun. We're the only ones that like the film. Apparently so. Again, I mean, I understand what Jay says, but Jay was, the least harshest I've heard anybody be with this film that has talked about this film. Most people, it's not just they don't much care for it, it's they don't like it. They absolutely hate it, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand the hate for it, I guess. Yeah, me too. I don't get it. Actually, you say it's not like that Sandra Lock movie, Rat Boy. I don't think I've seen that one, but apparently I don't need to see it. TJ's here. He says he liked Rat Boy. Yes, and people got some problems with. I believe people got problems with Ed Gale too, but I'm not going to get that stuff started. I just said at the beginning of this thing that if you've got a problem with somebody that's in the movie and you want to watch the movie, if you want to say one, maybe two things about their seedy lifestyle or something, go ahead. But we don't want to monopolize the whole chat with stuff like that. Yeah, that's right. X-ray Ed Gale and Jeffrey Jones. LOL. TJ, you say Rat Boy's messed up. Got to see it. Well, maybe I'll take a look at it. I just know she's got a Misfit sticker on there. Poor Howard. I feel bad for him. Actually, you say in the comics he was a master of quack fu. And two, I love these little nuances here where he literally is like a non the way a non-human duck would be. He's kind of doing this number and shaking the rain off a little bit. X-Ray said there's two versions of the song, one sung by Dobie, the other by Thompson. Can't decide which I like more. Yeah, I mean the songs either way are just so good in this. I love how Beverly's like she doesn't know what to do with him here. Like she's like, I have some milk, I could put it in a bowl, and he's like, how about a beer? And then he sees her purse there. I think so, too, TJ. You said, what do you think about Leah Thompson's singing voice? I think it works for the music she's doing. It probably would, X-Ray. If this was made today, Howard would be a huge internet sensation. So Howard's, I mean, he's terrified because he thinks it's happening all over again. X-Ray, you say I don't think it's ever explained how Howard got to Earth in the comics. He just shows up as a fluke. I mean, I'm not saying they have to come up with a reason, but for the movie, I think that the reason works, obviously. So, guys and gals, I'm going to, if there are any gals in here right now, I am going to run to the restroom real quick and check on Steve and grab my energy drink, and I will be right back. But y'all continue watching the movie. Uh, well, Steve injured himself yesterday, X-Ray, and I'm back again, guys and gals. Um, I can't remember if you were in here whenever I was talking about his little accident he had where he fell on a metal piece and split his lip and had to have stitches put in. So, um, so I've been, keeping an eye on him, making sure, he's not in pain or anything like that, making sure he's put his ointment on his lip and, um, if he, making sure he eats and all that, because it's he's not in any excruciating pain or anything, but he doesn't have a lot of an appetite most of the time, so I'm having to make sure that he eats. Hey, Blissful. Well, we were gonna miss Scarefest anyway, regardless of, if the accident had happened or not. But because I was just like, I know a lot of other people were wanting to meet a lot of other guests that were going to be there, but I really wanted to meet Richard Dreyfuss. And the more and more I thought about it, and then after I saw the actual prices that Richard Dreyfuss had, I was like, "Oh, I just can't do it this time. Maybe next time I'll go." I hate it though that I didn't get to catch up with people that, like I didn't get to see you, Blair. I didn't get to see Candace and Crater. I didn't get to see Movie Junkie John, um, Uncle Bill. It seemed like everybody was there this time almost. And so here's the introduction to Tim Robbins' character. Um, and we're going to find out that Tim Robbins is not like, he's not a scientist or anything like that. He's a janitor or something. So I'm guessing you got his autograph then, Blair. I wish that I'm not angry with Richard Dreyfuss. It was just at this point in time, I had to think about, I had to think about what was really important, and it's probably a good thing that I didn't pay out all that money, for gas and tickets and autographs and all that, because not only did Steve have his unfortunate accident, but our dog Zoe, I believe, is having some dental problems, so we're gonna have to take her to the vet. Oh, you met him 5 years ago, Blair? At a college? Interesting. Yeah, it gets to be when you have a family, it's all about family. You think I made the right choice? Well, I appreciate that, X-ray. And I hope that, my friends and stuff that I didn't get to see this time around understand. I'm sure they do, but so Blumbert, Tim Robbins' character, so Howard is not impressed with Blumbert. He's not impressed with this whole thing, and so when Howard was first looking at this chart on evolution, he was like, "Oh, you're a bunch of hairless apes." Oh, really? That is awesome, Blair. That Chris Jericho was there as a fan on Friday. Yeah, TJ, you are right. Nowadays, you got to sneak up on a celeb in the wild to get a free autograph or picture, or if they do a play or something, and you know where backstage is. And Blissful says TJ backstage is the best way to meet them. X-Ray, you say Howard was very cynical in the comics as well. Worse, probably. And I kind of like this better. But again, I never read the comics, so I really don't have any comparison to make between the two. But you do because you have read the comics. Um, so Howard is going to get pretty upset with Beverly here. She's going to know why he's so pissed off. And so he goes through the whole thing about getting blasted millions of miles through space and then given an IQ test by a janitor. So now Howard's angry. And this hurts Beverly, so now Howard's having to go to the Ohio Bureau of Employment Services, try to get a job. Exactly, X-Ray. You say, know what always bugged me? The lack of Howard merch when this came out. Where were the Howard talking dolls? Yeah, they could have made a fortune on those. Hey, Russell. TJ, you say, yeah, X-Ray, that shows how much they really thought this movie was going to flop. Yeah, I mean, talk about self-fulfilling prophecies. There you go, Blissful. Blissful says, I need to get a Barbie. I want to make bloody limb jewelry. So now poor Howard is having to work at a sleazy, what do you call this place? It's called Hot Tub Fever, but basically people are doing anything and everything in this place. A swingers club? So Howard's a duck, but he can't swim. There is no way I'd get in anything like that because it looks like shit. But Howard gets back at his sleazy boss, by pushing him into the lava of love and then telling him, "I quit." So poor Howard being inundated with violent actions against ducks on television. Russell, you say this is your third stream today. One more at 10. I don't know, TJ. That's a good question. You say you think Holly Robinson was pissed being a professional musician, but she was just background to Leah Thompson. So Howard's being lured back by the sound of Beverly's voice. That's right, Russell. Howard, give me the code key. X-ray, say Holly Robinson was great in 21 Jump Street. I think her and Johnny Depp dated for reals. So that guy there on the end is their sleazy manager. These are all sleazy guys here. Yeah, look out, Ginger. He's not in a good mood tonight. X-ray said the guy in the middle was in Jurassic Park as that South American paleontologist who found the mosquito in amber. I forgot about that. It's been so long since I watched Jurassic Park. Rosalie, you say I love the film, I can't watch it straight. X-ray, you say a lot of these actors were in a ton of other shit. Yeah, um, the one guy with the long hair and the hat, I'm forgetting his real name, but he was in Ferris Bueller a few weeks ago. Whenever I did the Ferris Bueller watch along, so Howard's getting the girls' money or the band's money, and he's making this guy promise that he won't bother the girls anymore. He's not their manager. And now he starts talking about space rabies. And there's Miss Holly Robinson there in that red dress, red and black dress. And Howard has returned. Here's a return of Tim Robbins. He's dating one of the girls in the band, evidently. X-ray. I think I read about that on the news. Russell, you say never seen a duck with big breasts? So Howard doesn't know what a pizza is either. So on his planet, there must not be pizzas, or they're called something else. Now Tim Robbins is wanting to get a feather from Howard to match with the one that they found the night Howard arrived on Earth. My little girl Zoe's in here with me. I was just checking on her. She's tired. Yeah, a parallel world, TJ. Yeah, Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder, as me and Jay were talking about last night, is a amazing movie. So, for you Leah Thompson fans that like looking at her very nice female form, I'll admit, uh, are gonna, you know, not get to see her naked, but you're gonna get to see plenty of, you know, again, this is like to me, this is a lot better than just her being completely naked. But you guys can feel free to disagree with me there. So Howard's talking about how he's learning to appreciate the female anatomy. And Beverly suggesting they watch David Letterman. And Howard suggesting maybe it's not a man that Beverly should be looking for in her life. So Howard is now claiming that it was just a joke. He was just joking. I love this part. And then she says, "Come on, Howard, I was just kidding." But she does give him a little kiss. And right at the moment where the scientists walk in with Tim Robbins in tow. X-ray, you say Howard's design in this film is still more visually appealing than that horrid one at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. I will have to admit to that, even though I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So Dr. Jennings is going to explain how Howard got to Earth. And he explains that they saw a single feather fall in the lab that night. So Howard says, he's got to get back to this lab and hop on board this laser scope or whatever they have and get back to his home planet. Phil, Tim Robbins' character is still wanting to, hold out for, a PBS special or something. So Howard's going to leave her some souvenirs. So even if you were watching this film for the first time, I don't think that you would think that Howard was going to go home. I mean, by this time we had already seen things like ET and how the initial attempts at getting ET back home went. And so we know that 50 minutes into an hour and 50-minute movie, Howard's not going to go home. But and this is a big indicator. So they're having trouble with this laser spectroscope thing. And that scientist says it exploded again. We shouldn't be tampering with the universe. And we know that Dr. Jennings went on ahead to get things ready for Howard to go back to his home planet. But now it's just absolute chaos in the lab. So they said that Dr. Jennings was getting the spectroscope ready. They lost control again, and then Jennings caught the full force of the blast. And Howard just says, "Excuse me, but is this going to delay my takeoff?" So now they're worried, they brought Howard down the first time, but what if they brought something else down this time? Something not as nice as Howard. I don't think I have seen Outer World with Bruce Willis, Russell. TJ, you said this premise is like the plot for Cool World. So now that the cops have taken Howard into custody, and they think it's just a person in a duck suit. So they're trying to find the zipper on the suit, and Howard's screaming, "You're perverts." And they're saying there's no zippers, there's no Velcro. So now Howard and Beverly are planning Howard's escape. So they're in the mode where they want to shoot to kill now. Well, there's Dr. Jennings. So Dr. Jennings isn't acting like he's feeling too well. And he's telling them there was a tremendous explosion, then I must have blacked out. Then I found myself out here. So he says, "I don't have a gate key," and Howard says, "You got a foot, step on it." Um, I did catch, part of Joe Bob. I'm gonna try to watch the rest of it on the replay, TJ. Um, I did watch, most of Demons 2, before I had something else I had to do, but, hopefully, like I said, I can watch the rest of it on the replay. I know that, Terrifier was the 2nd movie. So Dr. Jeans is saying, an evil has landed and the world's in great danger. And meanwhile, he's crashing through a lot of cones and stuff. And he says, feels like something's inside me gnawing at my guts. He doesn't know what's wrong. And Beverly's like, what did you have for lunch? So he says, I'm afraid I'm about to become something else. And Howard says, I'm great like a sex change or something. Um, hey, Dirk. So we're getting the idea that Dr. Jennings is going to be taken over by whatever this evil entity that came down from space, just like Howard came. So now they're at Joe Roma's, I think. And he says, I'm not Jennings anymore. The transformation is complete. And now I'm someone else. He says, try telling that to your insurance company. I've never been to a Joe Roma's. Has anybody else in here been to a Joe Roma's? So Howard says he's a seeing eye duck because the woman says, I'm sorry, we don't allow pets on the premises. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. So Jennings is now going into this process where, I no longer need human food. And he's talking about witnessing the end of the old world and the birth of the new. And she thinks he's like a TV evangelist. So am I close? But wrong on what the second last drive-in movie was? Steve told me it was Terrifier. Oh, The Fifth Element, Russell. I think I have seen parts of The Fifth Element. Steve owns that movie. Um, Thank you, Dirk. He said, "Yeah, I feel you should hit the like before you even comment." So I guess Steve told me wrong if he told me Terrifier, because that's what I mean, I was in here doing, other things, and I kinda peeked in there, but Steve told me it was Terrifier. Oh, hell, you can spoil for me, TJ. I don't mind. What was it, Terrifier 2 and not Terrifier? Or was it not any Terrifier movie at all? Oh, for Pete's sake. Well, that's why that explains a whole lot, TJ, that why the scenes I saw didn't seem familiar to me at all. So it was All Hallows Eve, which was that the um first time you see Art the Clown? Yeah, it has Art. Oh boy. Well, sorry I spoke out of turn there. That was because Steve told me it was Terrifier. Ah, Jenny's just exploded the ketchup and mustard there. So the code key is going to activate the laser spectroscope and it's going to bring down the dark overlords. And in case you're not familiar with what the dark overlords are, if you see this little creature here, it's going to bring down a bunch of those guys. I don't think I'd mess with him. Oh, nothing's wrong with Terrifier, Russell. I agree with that. TJ, you say it was cool they had demons too, since I saw demons with Claudio Simonetti a few weeks ago. Yeah, that's right. Derek, you say Art the Clown's first appearance was in a short film, The Ninth Circle, but All Hallows Eve was his first feature, but it's an anthology. Okay. I figured Dirk would know if anybody would know. I like that line. And she said, "You're just gonna sit there?" And he's like, "She took my eggs." And then she just screams out that Howard's her boyfriend. So she's gotta get Jenny to help here. I don't think I've ever seen the Ninth Circle, though. She's like, "You gotta get in there and beat them up," and Howard's like, "They're gonna cook me." She says, "Look, they're laughing at you, and they've got Mr. Code Key," and then, yeah, he's pissed off now. TJ said the original art actor Mike Gianelli died before they did Terrifier. He missed all the fanfare and popularity. Sad. That is sad. And Dirk, you say it's just amazing what Leon did with no budget. He estimates the chili. Bring me the code key, Howard. I don't think I'd be messing with a guy that had, a light show going on around him. And then he's got fireballs in his eyes. And Dark Overlord is messing that place up. Oh. Now he's going to bring down the other Dark Overlords, and that's going to be bad. So now Jenny, or the Dark Overlord. Goodness gracious, my dog's snoring back there. Um, but anyway, he's gonna kidnap Beverly. So the Overlords can't exist on Earth unless they're in a human body. So what this Dark Overlord inside Jennings' body is wanting to do is you know, get another Dark Overlord inside Beverly's body. But he's not feeling too good right now. Oh my. That looks like something from like The Beast Within or something. Now, they couldn't show all this whenever I watched it way back when on TV. And I mean, this is only PG, I think. It's like PG-13. Yep, it's PG. TJ, they all want to be inside her body, evidently. Um, are you loving my commentary, Russell, or another commentary for it? I know I'm on here by myself, so it's probably not real entertaining. So, guys, I've been drinking a lot of energy drink and stuff, so I hate to leave again because I don't have anybody to cover me while I'm gone. But I do have to run to the restroom. Um, uh, so I will be right back, guys. Now, Howard and Phil are trying to make it to rescue Beverly from being, inhabited by one of the dark overlords of the universe. Yeah, I don't know. I think this movie's a lot of fun. Again, I did not read the comic books, didn't even know there was a comic book series for a long time. Definitely not when I saw this movie. So poor Beverly's all tied up with what looks like bungee cords. So Jenny, as the dark overlord, is in a nuclear power plant. Looks like it's 1 million kilowatts power. Meanwhile, poor Beverly's tied up in the back of this semi. You never read the comic books, Russell? I didn't either. And like I said, I didn't even know at the time that I watched this movie that Howard the Duck was a comic book character. I didn't know there was a comic book series for Howard the Duck. I just thought that this was some movie they made just based on a character that somebody made up. Um, I had no idea. Um, I have seen Haunt, Russell. I remember liking it pretty well. Dirty say I used to collect comics in the 80s and early 90s. I remember seeing those. Blissful, you say I didn't either. Dirk, you say you saw them on the shelves. Oh my, Jenny looks. He says he feels much better, but man, he doesn't look better. Uh oh. Rosalie, you say Dana haven't seen it, so going to a live watch party at 10. Cool, Russell, but I thank you for, coming by for this one too. Um we may be done by 10. unless it's 10 Central Time or whatever. I don't know, I get confused. So I think Howard's getting revenge on the duck hunters there. Dirk, I went through a little bit of that before. You say I look back at so much shit I got rid of that's worth so much now, and I'm so pissed at myself. It's either that or things I didn't take care of that I probably should have. And some people might say, these special effects are very primitive and hokey and stuff like that, but I don't know. They worked for the time period, I think. Maybe they haven't held up over time, but I still don't mind it. You some blowing up some cars, smog inspection. They're shooting at Howard and Phil, and those guys aren't a danger. Dirk says, "Well, now, Dana, we have shitty CGI blood and gunshot wounds." It's a water skiing without water skis. Oh, for Haunt, that's the commentary layer. I don't think I'll ever understand CGI blood either, Dirk. What's the purpose when you can still do fake blood and latex stuff? Which to me looks a lot more realistic than CGI blood. He's a duck terrorist. He hijacked the plane. Like, how can you hate this movie? A big choo choo. Um, Dirk, he's doing a little better today. He's still got some swelling in the lip, but I don't think it's gotten any worse. And I've been checking on him periodically throughout the day and stuff. And I got him last night. I got him some ointment, some Oragel ointment, some pain relievers. I've been having him use this Oragel mouth rinse I had for like mouth sores and stuff. And he's supposed to go to the little clinic in Kroger on Friday. We got him scheduled for an appointment to go, or not Friday, Thursday after work. He's gonna have his stitches removed. So he's doing as well as could be expected. He's just gonna have to be careful. Yeah, that's a scary thought, Russell. Pretty soon actors will be CGI. So Howard just kicks open the door. The neutron disintegrator. Oh, what happened to Steve Russell? He fell on a metal piece and split right through his upper lip. Um, yeah, I mean it happened outside, guys. So I'm not sure of like all the details. Just that he tells me he fell on a metal piece and it split right through his upper lip there, and he had to have stitches. And I don't mind people asking. I'm sure Steve doesn't either. No, no, Dirk. Nope, didn't do that. But poor guy. I've been doing everything I can to help him. He at least he's resting now. So between poor Steve having his unfortunate accident and Zoe, we think she's having some dental problems, and the bad thing is our current vet is retiring, so we're going to have to take her um, to a new vet and have her checked out. And her mouth is so sore that I'm going to warn these new vet that she might snap. So they're either going to have to, if they want to look at her mouth, they're probably gonna have to sedate her or something to do that. But me and Steve have her scheduled for Friday afternoon, um, to take her in and have her mouth looked at. Ooh, Russell. So Russell, do you have scars from that? Yeah, Steve pretty much had to have stitches inside and outside the lip because Steve's afraid he's going to have scars from this. I said, "Well, at least it was your lip and not, you didn't, like, stab yourself in the eye or something like that." You got a outside scar? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Dirk. You say lost our cat recently, don't know what happened to him. I've noticed a bunch of cats are missing around here. Unfortunately, I've noticed that sometimes cats do go missing. I had a cat when I lived at home with my parents, and um, he just disappeared, and we never found him. We never found him dead or anything. And then I had a cat, another cat that got run over in the road. So we're fast approaching the last part of the movie. Um, so I hope for those of you that have been watching along, if this is your first time watch, I hope that you enjoyed it. Like, or if you have been avoiding this movie because you heard people talk about how bad it was, I'm hoping this was a nice surprise for you. I was looking at an article on this movie from I don't know how long ago it was, but it said something about George Lucas making a children's movie. To me, this is definitely not a children's movie. I know some kids that probably this dark overlord character would be enough to give them nightmares. So I don't know what the person was talking about it being a kids movie, but I watched it when I was younger, but like I'm talking, 12 or 13 or so, which is when I watched a lot of movies. Um, yeah, Russell, sometimes you do get lucky. You say we had a cat that was missing for 2 years and came back good as new. So Jenny is back to normal now. He says, "The evil's not inside me anymore, but now it's loose." Hey, Jay. Doug, you say you watch this all the time as a kid. Yeah, I mean, I watched it several times as a kid. So here comes the Dark Overlord, and some people might think this is a little hokey too. But for some reason, I think it still works. It still works for me. That's a nasty looking creature there. Uh-oh. So this dark overlord is still planning on bringing more dark overlords now. Good question. Wonder how Leah Thompson felt about taking this role, having sex with an alien duck and trying to have sex with her son in Back to the Future. Does kind of look like salami. Well, minus that green slime stuff that came out. So the Dark Overlords are supposed to get there in 3 minutes. Well, actually, less than 3 minutes now. Ooh. 1 minute and 30 seconds. But as we know, even if it was getting close to the countdown timing out, um, we're pretty much sure at this point that good is going to win over evil. So he just disintegrated that dark overlord. But there's more coming. So what's this going to mean? That Howard has to destroy the machine, but Beverly says, if you do that, you won't get home. So 10 seconds, I think they would already be there. But, this is the movie universe. So, yeah, they're sending them back or destroying them one. But what happened to Howard? So Beverly thinks something terrible has happened to Howard. Sequel Howard the Duck Goes Home, Russell. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever make a sequel to this because the fact that it flopped so bad. So he says, I am not Howard anymore. And then he just coughs. So now Beverly and Cherry Bomb, her band, have finally made it. And guess who their manager is? It's Howard. Durkee said, "Wonder what their baby would have looked like." I don't know. I just can't even imagine. Russell, you say off the bottom part is human. Uh-oh. Like, even if you didn't like all the other stuff, how could you not like this ending? Oh, you mean Dirk, you say that people said that Maniac 2 was better than Maniac or the last horror film? Yeah, I wouldn't have said that. I mean, it was okay for a watch, but no, definitely not better than Maniac. And I just always was like the ending of this with the credits rolling and stuff. I This was magic to me as a kid. It was just something that just made me happy to watch. So we have officially reached the end of Howard the Duck. So again, if you were watching this for the first time and enjoyed it, I am so happy. If you had never watched it because you've heard it was such a terrible movie and you watched it and you liked it, I am so happy. If you seen it when it came out and didn't like it and you still don't like it, I apologize, but I thought it was fun to go back and revisit this movie again. I had such a rough week last week, and this weekend didn't start off very well with Zoe having her dental problems and Steve having his injury. that I needed a little something fun. And I think this hit the spot for me. So I'm hoping that it was a fun watch or rewatch for a lot of you in here. We got a few more people along the way as the movie went on, and I'm happy about that. And I'm glad that several of you decided to join me during the last part of the film. Sometimes you just need laughter, Blissful. Derek, you're talking about being a fun one. Um, Russell, I don't even think I watched the remake of Maniac. I don't know. It just didn't seem to be my cup of tea, but perhaps I maybe, need to take a look at it. But as usual, I will let the credits run out before I get off of here. But while we're waiting for the credits to run out, for those of you that didn't see my movie Munchies live earlier today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it was a little bit later, and I think some people probably weren't expecting it to be as late. And so I didn't have as many people in there. But I did want to show you the result of that movie Munchies. So let me go to the refrigerator real quick. So these are my stuff containers that I made. I actually, instead of doing the t-shirt transfer iron-ons, I just basically printed these labels off on shipping labels and just cut them out and stuck them on here. Now they're a little cockeyed. I did do one for the top as well. Uh, but this has been chilling in the refrigerator this afternoon. So you can maybe see the little top made a little indentation in it, so it's not quite as smooth as it was when I put it in there. But I'm going to be partaking of some of this here in just a little bit, not right now. But I did eat some of the extra that was left in the mixing bowl. And I will tell you, if you make this stuff, it's richer than you think it is. Because I almost got sick just eating the extra out of the mixing bowl. Thank you, Dirk. You said that's cool, Dana. Um, Dana loves the stuff. Well, I like this version of the stuff that I made. It does taste pretty good. Um, Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says they turned out amazing. Russell, you say Maniac 2's not bad, or not Maniac 2. The remake of Maniac's not bad. Elijah did a great job. Perhaps I will go back and try that one out at some point. Russell, you're right. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Dirk, you say, I'm digging into some Vincent Price soon. Fibes, Flicks, and Theater of Blood. X-Ray says rich and creamy, just how she likes it. Might not want to go too much into that. But anyway, if you guys want to make your own version of the stuff, it's marshmallow cheesecake, and a lot of people think, "Ew, marshmallow cheesecake." I don't know if that sounds very good. It actually doesn't taste bad at all. Like I said, I almost ate too much of it and got sick a little earlier. But I am going to eat one of these small um, containers of it. Um, I'm thinking about, making some more at some point, and maybe getting bigger containers and maybe getting tops that look more like the containers and the tops from the movie, the stuff. Um, but I probably this is going to be my snack here in just a little bit when I get off of here. Um, so yeah, now I will tell you, and I told people in the video to or the live that Casey, the homicidal homemaker, if you go to homicidalhomemaker.com, that's where the recipe is. Um, but she had a template for the stuff. And I get it. I realize that she wants to get credit for what she comes up with. But I didn't like it because uh, her templates had the homicidalhomemaker.com on them. And I thought it looked more authentic without that on there. So that's why I just did a Google image search and searched for the stuff labels and was able to find one, like I said, for the top and the to put around the container. Well, thank you, Russell. You say marshmallow cheesecake, yum. And thank you, Dirk. You say you'll check out the video. It sounds good. Well, I hope you like it. If you end up making it for yourself, I hope you do like it. Um, so I guess I'm going to call it a night for tonight, and I'm going to eat some of the stuff, and hopefully it won't consume me, right? For those of you that have seen the movie. Uh, yeah, I can't stop talking about the stuff, X-Ray. That's right. Um, but I'm going to get off here for the night, relax a little bit, maybe watch a movie or two, and enjoy the stuff. And check on Steve and check on Zoe. Only I think Zoe's out of it, and right now she's asleep. Um, Thank you, Russell. You say Dana had another great stream today. Thanks. Everyone is fam. Well, you're definitely family with me too, Russell. Good night, Blissful. Um, so I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. So get out of here and have yourself some stuff, okay? Dana gonna eat some more stuff off camera. Yes, sir. Thank you, X-Ray. You said this watch was baller. Night, Dana. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next time.